And there you have it. We've started the race of race 2 of the pro race. It's 6 laps now, and the cars are all jostling away. Imesh Silva, Devin Serasinger, Irshan are in the top 3, and Thiago Pereira is 3rd at the moment and running very wide there. 3 cars abreast, sandwiched by 2 CEAT cars, and he comes a cropper. He's back down to 4th place now. Mevan Pereira is in 5th. I think there's been quite a bit of incidents there on track, and the drivers are bumping into each other, hitting each other, and not too sure exactly what's happening, but there's a lot of action on track.
Control to all drivers, please be
Imesh Silva leads the pack from Rushdie Irshan, and right into the corner. The 2 cars running tooth and nail into that first bit there, as Imesh Silva blocks Rushdie Irshan. Devin Serasinger in 3rd place in that CEAT branded car, beautifully appointing himself into the corner, as the cars ahead of him are on each other's how should I call it, bumper to bumper would be putting it mildly, but these cars are pretty parallel to each other. Both cars in the air, beautifully taken. Imesh leaving lots of space, giving Rushdie Irshan the adequate space for him to go. Rushdie, also being the gentleman driver he is, ensuring that there is no bumping, no hitting. There you have it. Devin Serasinger in 3rd place, turning the car into the corner. Mevan Pereira right on his tail there, and Kushan Piris, the winner of race 1, is now battling with Brian Pereira. So Kushan and Brian having a ding-dong battle between the 2 of them. It'll be interesting to see which of these 2 prevail, as Kushan is a meister on gravel. He will know exactly where to place that car. He's raced this car in real life as well. And Brian and Kushan now in 5th and 6th place. Again, our leader Imesh Silva still being hassled by Rushdie Irshan. Rushdie trying his level best to come around the outside, not working, making sure that the car is there. He might have the line into the corner, yes and no. Had it for a smidgen, then he lost it after that. Tried the switchback, didn't work as well. But in the melee, Mevan Pereira has now caught Devin Serasinger. There's going to be a battle there as well. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, all the cars in the same camera frame as for us. That's how competitive this race has become. Where exactly is Seshan? Seshan is at the moment in 8th place. He's right on the tail, or no, not exactly on the tail of Thiago. So Seshan is a brilliant driver. We've seen him come 3rd or 2nd in the first race, the 3rd I think in the first race. He was right behind Brian, and now he's got to battle his way up. He's got to pass Thiago and then fight his way up to keep up with the others. That's important because this event is all about points. And if you don't have the points, you don't have the luxury of getting the prize money that is on offer these days. So, ladies and gentlemen, Thiago is in 7th, Brian is in 6th, Kushan is in 5th, Mevan is in 5th, Devin is in 3rd, Irshan is in 2nd, and our leader Imesh Silva and quite a bit of action on track. The stewards informing drivers of certain misdemeanors on track, and as a result, certain drivers being asked to give up the placings. The beauty of this whole event is that the race control has direct communication with the drivers who are taking part, and inform them real time, and when there are issues on track. Devin Serasinger now in 4th place, Brian in 5th, Mevan in 6th, Thiago in 7th, and Seshan in 8th. These cars all racing with each other very close. The battles are brewing very well. I think there was a Seshan has got the better of Thiago. Seshan is now 7th on his way up to try to redeem some points, and Thiago there getting hassled by Kevin as well. So clearly this is a beautiful way of motorsport. CEAT have brought to us the virtual world of gravel racing in Honda 1600s. We thank our sponsors CEAT for coming up with this wonderful idea of making gravel racing or rallycross, which is there in the real world, brought to your doorstep in the virtual world as well. So Seshan now in 7th place, Devin in 6th, Mevan in 5th, Brian in 4th, Kushan in 3rd, and Rushdie Irshan. But if you look at the camera, from 9th all the way up to 1st, they are all within a couple of tenths of each other. The top 5 or top 7 actually are only 5 tenths apart. That again has been a bump and taken there. I think the stewards might look into that. There was a bit of a contact between those two drivers there, and Mevan now in 5th place. He's right on the tail of his elder brother Brian. You see the cars here nicely drifting down the downhill section before they start the uphill climb. There's a bump, there's a jump at the top of the climb with the cars. You have to line it right, and it's a beautiful circuit. 6.9 kilometers of racing brought to you by CEAT eSHIFT, as they bring in eSport right to your doorstep. Brian Pereira now having his younger brother Mevan right on his tail, 6 tenths apart, and Brian will see him in his mirrors now. Seshan has now got up to 7th place, but all the cars are really close to each other. Seshan there in 6th place, Kevin in 7th, Devin in 8th place, Thiago in 9th, Sachetana in 10th, and Adisha Kitwit in 11th, Angelo Senaratna in 12th place. So that is the back of the track. But realistically, if you look at it, they are all within a tenth or 2-3 tenths from each other. In every bit of racing, there's always a fight taking place. There is nowhere where one person has gone into the sunset taking the honors with them. So there you see Angelo Senratna battling it away with Devin Serasinger. Devin has caught Thiago, I think, or Thiago has overtaken Devin at that point, and Kevin jumps in the air. All the cars, a beautiful view there of all the cars being airborne for a moment or two. Adisha Kitwit now, the two CEAT cars right next to each other, as Sachetana Patirana drives down the inside and makes it stick. I think we're riding down with 9th place and 10th place as Angelo tries an outside move. I'm not too sure whether it made it stick, but that is working for them. Kevin Pereira now is in 7th place. Seshan is still in 6th, but he's caught Imesh Silva. Mevan is just a second away from Mevan, and Mevan is 5 tenths away from the brother. There is a bit of a battle brewing in front from what I saw. Pardon me, but Kushan has managed to get the lead from Rushdie Irshan. Brilliant driving from Kushan Peris, who won race 1 as well, and has come from now. Kushan has started in 10th place and has motored his way all the way up, all 10 places, and now is leading this race. So interesting stuff. Great racing today, all the way from the USA, from Fisherman's Ranch. 6.9 kilometers of racing as we go to the 4th lap out of 6. Interesting stuff. Lap number 4 out of 6, and Rushdie Irshan chasing away from Kushan Peris, but Brian Pereira and Mevan Pereira are right on their tails as well. It will be interesting to see where each one lies in this whole process. So Rushdie Irshan being hounded by Brian Pereira, and Rushdie hounding Kushan Peris, and little Mevan Pereira right on the tail of Brian. So there you see the cars there. Seshan has now managed to get past Imesh Silva and is now in 5th place. There's quite a bit of sunlight between Seshan and Mevan. There's about 2 seconds, but I'm sure Seshan, if he keeps it together, might be able to see the better light of day here. He can see the cars in front of him. Let's try to go into an internal view of these cars and see how each one sees them from inside, as Seshan manages to stay in the 5th place. That's what you see from within the car of Adisha Kitwith, as he is trailing Sachetana Patirana. Let's get on to something a little closer. And there you see Imesh Silva. What he sees is the back of Kevin Pereira and Seshan Gunasekara. So Seshan, 11 years old, right on the tail of being hounded by Imesh Silva, Kevin Pereira, and Imesh, whoa, that was a miscalculation, most abominable there, as he misjudged his braking point and went into Kevin. He didn't take the place, so no harm done there. Kevin does lose a little bit of ground to Seshan, and Seshan must be breathing a sigh of relief, as he has a little bit more breathing space between the two. So there you see Kevin Pereira, now a beautiful view of Seshan up in the air, and let's ride on board with Seshan. Seshan sees Mevan Pereira there. I'll try to get the inside view of what Seshan is into there, and Seshan, as you see, turning the car in nice and early, lovely apexing of the corner there. Again apexes it there, beautifully done. The gap still stays the same, so it goes to show how close the racing is at this point of time. We're live from the race control of the Ceylon Motorsports Club, who are bringing this event to you. We've also got Pit Pass, who are also conducting a live stream as well, which is a bilingual live stream. If you wish to, you could watch them on the Pit Pass, watch the races on the Pit Pass YouTube channel as well. So all credit to the organizers for having 2 sets of commentaries, 2 sets of live streams, and 2 sets of totally different feeds that one would take. As you ride on board with Seshan, you'll see, if you look at the right side mirror, you'll see the headlights of Kevin Pereira. We'll ride on board with Mevan, who really doesn't see much, but this is what you see from Brian Pereira's view. Brian keeping the car nice and square. It's evening in Fisherman's Ranch as well, pretty much the same time as what we have in Sri Lanka, and Brian trying to get the better of the drive up the hill. It won't be easy. I think he does have the drive, but he has to run extremely wide, getting it onto the loose gravel, and that would slow him down tremendously. Brian, sitting in Australia, told us that he's got a curfew in place and has to finish this very quickly to make sure that he gets back home without having any problems. And Rushdie Irshan, also a very, very good driver, but the man of the day, come at the hour, is Kushan Peris. There you see Brian getting the better of Rushdie, but Rushdie is on the inside. He's not going to have anything to do with that, as he makes sure that he covers the line as well. This is an epic race with one more lap to go. Let's see. I hope my predictions are right, but I think we have Kushan Piris, who's going to take this or nail this all the way to the flag. But it ain't over till the fat lady sings. As we come up to the halfway point near the bridge, you'll see the time sheets telling us where exactly it is. It's Brian is 3/10 slower in this lap than his previous lap, than his quickest lap, and he's done. So there you see he's getting slowed down by Rushdie Irshan, and that's giving Kushan Piris a lot more breathing space. He's coming down the inside. Let's see if Brian can make it stick. At the moment he needs to run that thing a little wide, and yes, that's what Brian managed to do. And you can see Rushdie is not giving up. He's fighting this all the way up that tight left-hander there, coming into the short straight under the gantry. The car will be up in the air, beautifully airborne. You'll see it happening right about now. Yes, there you have it, both cars in the air and landing, and then hard braking into the sharp elbow bend onto the right, short straight, and an elbow bend to the left. There you see the car going very, very wide. Kushan taking it all the way to the outside, loose travel, but Kushan is very comfortable with that, obviously, as he manages to pull a couple of tenths more from these two guys who are in second and third. We're right on board with Mevan. Mevan too has managed to get close to Rushdie Irshan, and he smells the coffee coming near the checkered flag. There's one more corner before we start lap number 6, which would be the last lap. This is the penultimate lap that we have. Seshan too has managed to get close to Mevan, and if Mevan makes a mistake, Seshan is going to grab that from him. Kevin makes a contact there, but nothing too serious. Kevin is trying his level best as well to get the better of Seshan. Interesting times. Let's see who breaks here and whether there is any kind of contact. Nicely done. Seshan gets the car sideways, almost coming into contact with Kevin. Kevin making sure that he doesn't have too much, runs the car, he doesn't run it too wide, and gets the car beautifully into that particular block hole. Imesh Silva in 7th place, hasn't really made an effort or impression as yet, and Thiago in 8th place. Clearly these two guys are having problems on gravel. There are more circuit racing guys on the tarmac. They find it difficult. I think they're both finding it difficult on the gravel, but that's okay, that's acceptable. As you see Kevin managing to get a drive. Let's see whether Seshan can get the better of Mevan up the hill. I doubt it, because both cars are equally powered. They're both on third gear, doing about 108, 109, going downhill 116, 117, and then they got to change it into fourth gear. They don't, they hold it on third, and under the gantry again, up in the air, and they land. Very interesting. Seshan tap on the brakes, again tap on the brakes, and Kevin there giving a tap to Seshan and sending him wide. I'm sure the organizers will have a look at that. That was unfortunate, because it's the final lap and it's really not fair when things like that happen. But I'm sure the stewards will look into it and make a decision based on the replays that they have. All these events have a replay, and it's easy to replay it and see if there are any mistakes. I think Seshan got the drive out of the corner, he got the place back, and that's great stuff for him. He's back into 5th place, and we're on the final lap now. Our 6 out of 6, as one would see here, into the last bit of the track, wide there. Seshan taking it nice and beautifully done. Kevin is 8 tenths adrift, so there's not much he can do. Running it really wide, he will take a sharp turn here, because you got to be on the inside. If you drift it out, you're out of line for the next corner. So Seshan, nicely done, and I have to say this is the first time that a driver has gone into the 337 level. 337.462 being the fastest lap so far by Kushan Piris, and I think that is an absolutely commendable lap by him. I'm told that he drives with a Fanatec steering wheel, which is ideally suited for this kind of environment. He is on fire. Let's ride on board with Rushdie, Irshan and Brian. I don't think they've really made much of an impression on each other as we ride on board with Kushan Piris. We'll ride on board with Kushan Piris. He gets the car into a Scandinavian flick there, as one would call it, beautifully into one direction, then the other. He's going to take the checkered flag. But ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you this, that this Pro Race 2 has been so close that the gap between one and there he does it. He does a tail wag there, and he's over the moon. He's got the money in his pocket as well, as the top drivers all come past the start finish line, getting the gantry. The gap between the top 8 drivers is nothing more than 10 seconds. So that's how close the race has been, and everybody, absolute credit to all of them, ladies and gentlemen. Phenomenal racing, and we thank you and our sponsors CEAT for bringing this event to all of us. See you next time. Take care. Stay safe.
Good race, guys. Good race.